Good morning. Let's do your Seint tutorial. You have gotten your compact and your tins in the mail. They come with a little lid and you just push and slide. They are magnetic. So you're just gonna open your compact and they just pop in. And I do recommend keeping a lid so you can kind of pop them in and out. I'm gonna put the colors in order that we're gonna use them. I'm gonna put the colors in order that we're gonna use them. You don't have to do it this way. It's just whatever way works for you. I have Aspen. And then I have got Linen. Next is Candlelit. After that, I'm gonna put Henna. Bella Bronzer. I'm gonna stick in Sandstone for a lip and cheek just so I have a color. And then I'm gonna put Vanilla Dust setting powder on the bottom. So you have got your palette. So I've got Aspen, which is for color correction, Linen, which is your brightener, Candlelit, which is your main color, Henna, which is your contour. See, I stuck my finger in it to have color. Otherwise, you could have used that. Bella is a bronzer. Sandstone I'm gonna use for a lip and cheek. And then on the bottom, I put Vanilla Sky dusting powder, or vanilla. And on the bottom, I put Vanilla Dust setting powder. Okay, so I like to do, in the beginning, when you're learning, use your fingers. I am gonna use two brushes today. I have got the 3D brush. It's real cylindrical and pointed on one end and fluffy on the other. And then I have the blush and bronzer brush, a little denser on one end, but super fluffy on both ends. So let's start with that Aspen. Actually, I'm gonna start with a primer. All right, so let's start with a clean, dry face. I'm gonna put on some primer in SPF. So I'm putting on SPF. And then I'm gonna use our setting spray, which also doubles as a primer. And I'm gonna let it set for just a second. And then we're gonna start with our colors. In the beginning, I do like to use our fingers. So I'm gonna just kind of tap into that Aspen. And I'm gonna put it on all the areas that have that extra redness. I've got rosacea flaring up on my nose. A little melasma, rosacea over here. And then the rest are really just freckles. I do have some veininess on my eyelids. I'm gonna put foundation on those. And just put a dab of Aspen on there. Okay, let's go. So we did our Aspen. Next is gonna be your brightening highlight, which is Linen. And that's just gonna go down the middle of your face. So I did 3 little dots down my nose, Cupid's bow, and then on my chin. And then I'm gonna do the inner corner of my eye and the outer corner of my eye. And that's it for that color. Next is gonna be Candlelit, which is your main shade or your main highlight. And that's gonna go on the big areas of your face. So anywhere that you would put your, quote, normal foundation, I'm just gonna kind of dot it on. Some people like to add their contour first, but just because of my redness in my cheeks, I like to do it last. Doesn't matter. It's whatever works for you. And sometimes I will do it. I'm gonna put a little bit of this on my eyelids, and that'll kind of be a base or a primer for our lids. And put a little down our neck so we can blend it all together. Okay? So we want to make that brightness, like the focal area, like right up there by your eyes. That's why we put the brightness there. And we don't want to put anything directly under our eyes. It can cause, you know, more attention to that little baggy, small wrinkly area. And it's really sensitive skin, so the less the better. All right, let's hop on over to Henna. That's gonna be our contour. I'm still using our finger. I'm just gonna go against my hairline. I'm gonna find my cheekbone and just kind of go right on the edge of it and pull up. Always pull up and back. Same thing, I'm gonna do the sides of my nose. We're just gonna kind of give the illusion of a little slimmer nose. Do it under my lip. Optical illusion of a little poutier pout. And then I like to go down in front of my ear and then down my jawline. Down in front of my ear, down my jawline. And then I just take a couple little swipes and I'm gonna make that like a little bit more shadowed on my neck to draw it in. There's several different ways to do it. I think this is the easiest and the best way to kind of learn and start out. You can go ahead and add your lip and cheek at this point. I'm gonna wait. I like to do it afterwards, just personal preference. So at this point, I usually, if I don't add the color with my finger, I would add it with the pointed end of the 3D brush. But I'm gonna flip over to the fluffy side and I'm just gonna stipple or pat the cream into my skin. You'll get better coverage with the cream patting, and you're just kind of flicking and patting and pushing the color into your skin. And I go to the lightest colors first and then work our way to the darker colors. I'm just gonna pat it on my eyelids. And then I'm gonna use a real soft windshield wiper motion for underneath my eyes. You can also use like a real fluffy eyeshadow brush if you wanted to get up in underneath your eye really good. And you're just gonna push it in and blend it until it's the way you want it. It will not take much. It takes a lot less than what you're used to. If you notice you're seeing your pores, or after you do it several times, you're not getting the coverage you want, it just means we need to go a little bit darker in your shade. And usually if you start having issues with coverage or anything like that, all it means is we just need to go a little bit darker. When you do your contour, you're still pushing and flicking, but you're going back and away from the center of your face. You want to draw those lines up and out and back. And all the different brushes we have, they can kind of give a different kind of finish. This is just kind of a medium coverage finish. It's not full coverage. I mean, a heavy coverage. It's not super light coverage. It's just kind of there in the middle. But see, you can still see my skin. You can still see my freckles. It's still there. I'm not covering it up, putting on thick layers. Your skin is gonna be able to breathe. It's amazing. Okay, so next, I'm gonna go in with the Sandstone. I'm gonna use my finger again just so you can see. So this cheekbone right here is where we put the contour. And I'm gonna start like right there at the corner of my eye and just kind of dot it up, okay? The corner of my eye on the cheekbone and up. Once again, it doesn't take much, highly pigmented. Let's pop it, press it into our skin. Just kind of push it and flick. I feel like that's got a little more color, just a little. Just put a little on our lip. So we have some color. The Sandstone is a satin. I like a glossy finish, so I'm gonna top it with Wallflower, which is this month's shade of the month. Just to give it a little glossy finish. It didn't change the color all that much. I got a little matchy going on. All right, the next color in your palette is gonna be the bronzer, the Bella bronzer. I do like to use the blush and bronzer for that. I'm going to use the big fluffy end. Doesn't take much, just a little pat. And then you're going to kind of do it in a 3 and an E shape, but I'm still just going to kind of press it in. It's just going to warm that color up and just kind of help it all blend together and give a little pop. I guess pop's my word today. It just warm you up. All right, the last one on the bottom, that's the Vanilla Dust Setting Powder. Stick in with the blush and bronzer brush. You also can use this. I just like the fluffiness of that with the setting powder. And you can kind of pat it. You can swirl it, whatever you like. But you do need to set your makeup. You need to prime and you need to set. Our makeup is not a fan of silicone in primers, so just make sure when you buy a primer that if there is silicone or dimethicone in it, that it is towards the end of the ingredient list or not in there at all. And that's kind of all you need to know. So we did your compact, we did your colors, and then I added Sandstone and Wallflower, and we set with the Vanilla Dust Setting Powder, and we primed with our setting spray. The 3D brush I used and the blush and bronzer brush I used. I'm so excited for you to try your makeup. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll talk soon. Bye.